Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. I do.
Thank you. Price, if you could proceed.
Thank you. Chairman Blumenthal, Ranking Member Johnson, and members of the subcommittee, thank you for the opportunity to testify today regarding the PGA Tour. I serve as the Chief Operating Officer of the Tour and most recently have been co-leading the Tour while Commissioner Monahan is on medical leave. Let me start by saying that our goal is to protect an American institution that, along with its tournaments, generates over $200 million annually for over 3,000 charities across 34 states and brings the highest level of sports and entertainment to millions of fans around the globe and provides the most pro-competitive, legacy-driven platform for the world's best players. That goal, which is our core mission, has been under threat for the better part of 2 years. When the Saudi-funded LIV Golf Tour launched its inaugural series in 2022, the tour faced an unprecedented attack. In defending our organization and its regulations that each member agrees to at the start of every season, we were forced to suspend players, those players who made the choice to play for LIV Golf. They could play for the new league, but they could not come back and forth to free ride off the work and platform of the collective membership they left behind. In August 2022, we were sued in an effort to invalidate our regulations. This created a fracture in golf unlike anything our sport had experienced in decades and created a division in our closely knit membership organization. We believe we've done everything we could possibly do to defend what we stand for, including spending tens of millions of dollars to defend litigation instigated by LIV Golf. And that's significant funds that were diverted away from our core mission to benefit our players and charity. As part of the litigation, we were successful in securing a court ruling that the Public Investment Fund was not protected under sovereign immunity with respect to litigation discovery and potentially liability. That's something which had never been done before in the United States. Meanwhile, we've seen continued strength of the tour, thanks to the loyalty, talent, and performance of the remarkable players we are proud to call members of the PGA Tour. However, it was very clear to us and to all who love the PGA Tour and the game of golf as a whole that the dispute was undermining growth of our sport and was threatening the very survival of the PGA Tour, and it was unsustainable. While we had significant wins in litigation, our players, our fans, our partners, our employees, our charities, and the communities we support would lose in the long run. Instead of losing control of the PGA Tour, we pursued a peace that would not only end the divisive litigation battles, but would also maintain the PGA Tour's structure, mission, and longstanding support for charity. While negotiations toward a definitive agreement are currently underway, the framework agreement contains important safeguards that ensures the tour will operate fundamentally as it does today. The tour will control its operations. The tour will control the board of the new PGA Tour subsidiary, and the tour will be the governing body for competitive golf in connection with any combined golf operations. The agreement provides clear, explicit, and permanent safeguards that ensure the tour will lead the decisions that shape our future and that we will have control over our operations, strategy, and continuity of our mission. I certainly understand the need for additional clarity around how and why the deal came together, and I welcome the opportunity to shed light on the predicament we found ourselves in, one which we did not seek, one that we could not sustain indefinitely, but one for which we found a workable, productive solution that benefits all who love the game of golf and the PGA Tour. Thank you, and I'll be happy to answer your questions.
Thanks, Mr. Price. Mr. Dunn.
Mr. Chairman, Ranking Member Johnson, members of the subcommittee, my name is Jimmy Dunn, and since January of this year, I have served as an independent director on the PGA Tour Policy Board. To hold that position is a real privilege for me. I joined the board at a time of great concern for all of us who love the game of golf. Some players had left the PGA Tour to join LIV Golf. Others were under pressure to do the same. The PGA Tour and LIV were facing each other in litigation. There is division and tension among players. You could feel it spreading to fans and sponsors. My concern was that if it all continued, expensive legal fights, every day wondering which player was going to leave next, a fan base tired of hearing about it, sponsors nervous, golf as we know it would be damaged forever. As board members, we have a responsibility to protect the game. As the situation appeared to me, the tour had to move towards a solution of the differences that were causing way too much disruption. And we had to do it in a way that preserved the standards, tradition, and authority of the tour. For that to happen, we needed to act from a position of strength, and we found ourselves in that position in the spring of this year. By April, major court rulings had set back LIV in its litigation against both the Tour and Europe's DP World Tour. It was the right moment to reach out, not only because of those legal victories, but also because of our solid financial condition. We knew that a long-term fight with LIV would be harmful to the players, fans, sponsors, and charities. We wanted to begin the negotiation while we were in a strong position. This would allow us to focus on uniting the game or walk away if that objective was not being served. At the direction of the PGA Tour Commissioner and the board chairman, I contacted Yasser Al-Rahman, LIV's majority owner and governor of the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia. A limited number of in-person meetings followed, and these meetings resulted in the framework agreement of May 30th. As members of this subcommittee know, some agreements are just mutual promises to continue to negotiate, and this describes the framework agreement. The only deal reached in the framework is that the lawsuits among the parties have been settled. Everything else is aspirational. The elements are all there for a final agreement that can serve the interest of the players, fans, sponsors, and charities and unite the game of golf. Since the June 6th announcement, the tour and its advisors have taken the lead in negotiating the final agreement. But what I can tell you is the tour will continue to manage the game, retaining majority governing control, majority economic control. The tour will appoint a majority of the board of directors. The framework would not be possible without the clear understanding that the tour will retain full decision-making authority. Of course, we expect many questions about who we're dealing with. The reality is that because some men from Saudi Arabia were part of the nightmare of September 11th, suspicion has lingered about the complicity of others. For my part, my thoughts turn to September 11th. I remember the 66 friends and colleagues at my firm who died that morning, along with so many others when the towers went down. I think about them all the time. I think about the families, and I think about the grief that never ends. If any person had the remotest connection to an attack on our country and the murder of my friends, I am the last guy that would be sitting at a table with them. If this agreement ultimately succeeds, I have nothing to gain except a sense of pride that we helped unite the game we love. I am not in line for a job, a fee, compensation of any kind. My entire concern here is to put this divisive period behind us and, for the sake of the players, fans, sponsors, and charities, unite the game of golf once again. Thank you, and I look forward to your questions.
Thanks, Mr. Dunn.